If you're thinking about applying for a trademark, one of the first things that you might do is go to the USPTO database to check whether the trademark you want is actually available. But if you've done that and you've come across a trademark that looks exactly like yours or just somewhat similar to yours, does that mean that if you apply for your trademark that you have no shot of getting it approved? Maybe, maybe not. Hey friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Faith Minton, an attorney on a mission to simplify trademark law for entrepreneurs and business owners so they can better understand their legal rights. Here you will find tons of easy to understand content that is geared towards helping you learn how to navigate the crazy world of trademarks and to stay on the right side of the law. And today I want to answer the question, will the USPTO approve my trademark application if there's already a similar trademark on their database? Because it's a really juicy topic and one that you need to know about if you're even remotely considering filing a trademark application. And that's because you can't talk about or even think about this topic without understanding one of the very basic and most fundamental concepts in trademark law known as a likelihood of confusion. Likelihood of confusion is just a legal way of saying, will people mix up your brand with someone else's? And another way of saying that there is a likelihood of confusion between two trademarks is to say that they are confusingly similar. And this idea of confusing similarity goes to the heart of trademark infringement. And the USPTO can approve a trademark application that is similar to an existing active trademark in their database. Otherwise, they'd be signing off on infringement. So when you apply for a trademark, part of the review process the USPTO engages in is to figure out whether there are any other trademarks that are active in their database that people might confuse with yours and think that the brands are connected in some way. Another legal way to refer to this concept is to say, are the products and services offered and presented to the public in a way that would give rise to the mistaken belief that they come from the same source? There are a lot of different factors that have to be considered when deciding whether two trademarks are confusingly similar. But I won't go into all of them because this channel is about simplifying concepts. So the two main important factors that you have to consider when deciding whether confusing similarity exists are, number one, do the trademarks look similar, sound similar, or have similar meanings? And number two, are the trademarks used to promote products and services that are related to each other in some way? And notice the and in my last sentence because both things must be true in order for a likelihood of confusion to exist. So just because there's another trademark on the USPTO database that looks similar to yours or even is exactly identical to yours, that doesn't necessarily mean that your trademark will not be approved. The context matters a lot, and the relatedness of the products and services really, really matters. So if the trademark is for a completely different product or service than the one that you are selling, you may still have a chance. So let's break this down further with a few examples. Imagine that you want to apply for a trademark for the name Blue Horizon for a tech startup. And when you check the USPTO database, you find the exact match for Blue Horizon and you get freaked out. When you look more carefully, you see that that trademark is registered for a barbecue sauce. So while the names are the same, literally identical, the products and services are completely different. And no reasonable person is going to think that a tech startup is also selling barbecue sauce. Therefore, there isn't really a likelihood of confusion, and the USPTO may approve your application, assuming everything else is in order. But let's say in that exact same scenario, you're looking to apply for Blue Horizon for a tech startup, and you see the exact same trademark for another software product, something in the tech field. In that situation, there may be a likelihood of confusion and the USPTO might reject your application. It will depend in huge part on how related the software products are, as well as other factors that could determine whether a likelihood of confusion exists. So to summarize my last point, it is possible for identical trademarks to exist if they are sold or used in connection with very different products and services. And I promise you, you have seen this before, where two different companies have the exact same trademark for very different products and services. You've got the Dove trademark registration for chocolates, which is owned by Mars Incorporated, versus the Dove trademark registration for soaps, which is owned by Konopko? I'm sure I'm butchering that, but the point is, they're different companies, different products, same exact trademark. Another example, you've got the Delta trademark registration for air transport, which is owned by Delta Airlines, versus the Delta trademark registration for faucets, which is owned by Delta Faucet Company. These identical trademarks can coexist because they are used to promote unrelated products and services. So there is a very, very low possibility that people will confuse the companies and think that the one company sells both things. But even though I've been focusing on identical trademarks so far, I want you to remember that a trademark does not need to be identical in order for a likelihood of confusion to be found. They just need to be confusingly similar. So trademarks that look similar, sound similar, or have similar meanings may be confusingly similar if they're used on related products and services. Examples are always good here. Let's say that you started a sneaker and athletic wear company known as Nike, Nikey. If you apply to register a trademark for your brand name, it's very likely going to be rejected due to the Nike, very well known Nike brand, which has a bajillion trademark registrations. There's a definite likelihood of confusion here because the trademarks look very similar to each other. And people might think that your sneaker and athletic wear brand is somehow connected to Nike, or that it's endorsed by Nike, or that it's a part of Nike. It just creates confusion. But figuring out whether confusing similarity exists isn't always that obvious. Another example I love to use involves the Red Bull trademark registration for energy drinks. The company that owns this trademark registration was able to block an application for Pink Cow for beverages not including energy drinks based on a likelihood of confusion. Even though there was no overlap in terms of the words, right? They didn't share any common words. They didn't really share any common letters. The likelihood of confusion was still found because the concepts were similar. They meant similar things, especially because cows and bulls are related animals, and because energy drinks are a type of beverage. So what do you do if you search the USPTO database and you find a trademark that you think might be confusingly similar to yours? First, don't panic. This is where strategy can come into play. You may be able to tweak your trademark by adding some language to it or combining it with a really unique and distinctive design to distinguish it from any similar trademarks. Or you could narrow your application to avoid a conflict by limiting it to products and services that are unrelated to the ones in the trademark registration or application that you think will block yours. Another option, I would say even a better option, is to consult with a trademark attorney to figure out whether a likelihood of confusion even exists. Outside of the two factors I've listed here, there are other things to consider to determine whether there is confusing similarity. And sometimes even if the trademarks are similar, meaning they look similar, sound similar, or have similar meanings, there may be other factors and other things that come into play to reduce the likelihood of confusion and allow the trademarks to coexist. Finding out whether there really truly are trademark conflicts and how to draft the application to avoid conflicts is one of the reasons why trademark attorneys conduct trademark clearance searches for their clients before they file an application. I talk about what this search is and why it's important in my What is a Trademark Clearance Search video. So go ahead and check out that video after you watch this one if you want to learn more. Because although the USPTO database is an important place to check for trademark conflicts, it is not the only place that you should be checking. And a thorough trademark clearance search will cast a wide net to try to find trademark conflicts that can cause problems for you down the line. And that's a wrap. Now you know that finding a trademark on the USPTO database that looks similar to yours doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of your trademark journey. It's just a sign that you should do more digging to figure out whether there is a likelihood of confusion. And the two most important factors in this analysis are: do the trademarks look alike, sound alike, or have similar meanings on the one hand? And are the trademarks used to promote similar products and services on the other hand? If you enjoyed this video, I hope you will give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more trademark content and to turn on notifications so you never miss when I post a new video. If you have thoughts or questions to to share, I invite you to put those in the comments. I read and respond personally to each one, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.